Okay, welcome back to another episode. Oh, we're getting there, boys and girls. We're getting there. Almost halfway through January. All right, the boys and girls part. It should be ladies and gentlemen. Young adults. How about that? Let's get the gender out of there. Fiscal policy. What is fiscal policy? It is the deliberate changes in government spending, taxes. All right, so when we're looking at fiscal policy, the focus will be on government spending and taxes. It is designed to achieve full employment, control inflation, while encouraging economic growth. We've talked about a DAS. This is looking to kind of move the AS curve to the right, not too much because we want to control inflation, but we do want the full employment, we do want the economic growth. Okay, so there are two things we're going to do. We're either going to fix a recessionary gap or we're going to fix a inflationary gap. So let's look at a recessionary gap, and the tool we would use for that is a expansionary fiscal policy. We will use it during the recession, as I said. We'll increase government spending. Or we could decrease taxes. Combination of both. A little government spending, a little decrease in taxes, make everybody a little bit happy. Okay? This will create a deficit. When we are taking in less tax revenue, but paying out more money, that normally will cause a deficit. Okay? And we'll get into that more later. Now let's graphically look at this. We have our AS and we have our AD curve. We're at 490. We increase government spending by 5. We get an increase of 20 billion. I want you to think about the multiplier, and I want you to think about the marginal propensity to consume. All right, so that's what we do for expansionary fiscal policy. Then we have contractionary fiscal policy, which is to fix demand pull inflation, closing the inflationary gap. We decrease government spending, we increase taxes. Boys and girls, one, you do the opposite for the other. Okay? Or a combination of both. This, because we're bringing in more taxes and spending less, will create a surplus. Graphically, we will look at this, and you'll notice we have our aggregate demand. We are going to decrease government spending by 3 billion. That shift, and then we will get an increase, a little bit, and then an increase over, and we will end up with a full $12 billion decrease in aggregate demand. Does the marginal propensity to consume and the multiplier, is it consistent with the contractionary as it was with expansionary? So the policy options we have are government or taxes, right? Spending or taxes. To expand the size of government, so we want government to be bigger, then during a recession we increase government spending. During inflation we increase taxes. That will make the size of our government larger, okay, more involved in the economy. Maybe we could argue that's a democratic view. If we want to reduce the size of government, then during a recession, we decrease taxes. During inflation, we decrease government spending. The overall size of the government will decrease. Maybe we argue that's a Republican conservative view. But who am I to make labels, right? So let's look at what's called a built-in stabilizer. This is something that happens automatically because the economy starts to slump or grow too quickly. Okay, we call them automatic stabilizers. So taxes will vary directly with GDP. As GDP is rising, taxes usually rise, right? So that will slow down spending as we get into an inflationary period. Transfers vary inversely with GDP. So as GDP is falling, unemployment, welfare, Medicare, things like that tend to increase as it's falling. That's going to give us a parachute, in a sense, to slow down the business cycle. We don't want to come crashing down. Okay? It reduces the severity of business fluctuations, right? A lot of this is caused by the uncertainty in business, and the government's there to try to brace the fall. Okay, we look at taxes. Tax progressivity. There's a progressive tax system, a proportional tax system, or a regressive tax system. Progressive means as income goes up, the tax percentage increases with it. Proportional means the percentage you pay in taxes stays the same as your income rises. Regressive says the percentage you pay decreases as your income increases. All right, then I just want to go through a quick little review of the Great Recession, financial problems in 2007. There's a freeze in the credit market. Pessimism spreads to the overall economy. The recession officially begins December 2007. Last 18 months, right? For those of you scoring at home, that is a 1.5-year-old. Okay. Some problems and criticisms and complications with fiscal policy. The first problem is timing. Okay, how do I know when we're in a recession? How quickly can we act? So there's a recognition lag. Have I recognized that there's a problem? Okay, let's say I've recognized there's a problem. The economy's slumping. How long does it take till we come up with a plan? How long for Congress and Senate? Just look, they're talking about, somebody in class said we gave a $2,000 stimulus. We talked about it so much, you would have thought we gave it, right? So then by the time we get them to agree to do it, then there's the operational lag, which is the time it takes for it to go into effect. Right? So we have the political business cycles, right? Future policy reversals. So political business cycles means, right, Trump is out, Biden's in. So now we're moved on to Democratic. Now supposedly we're a tax and spend type of government. I thought we were tax and spend. We definitely were a spender in the last 4 years. Then we have future policy reversals. Bush, look how old I'm sounding. Trump comes in, reverses the health care that Obama did, right? Biden comes in, maybe he'll change the tariffs and some of those other things. Then we have offsetting state and local finance, right? So the president did this policy. I was no longer able to write off my state income tax and some of the local things that are going on. Then there is the dreaded crowding out effect. Okay, and what is crowding out? We will get to that soon. All right? All right, now what is some of the current thinking on fiscal policy? Some of the thought is let the Federal Reserve handle the short-term fluctuations. Fiscal policy should be evaluated in terms of long-term effects. Use tax cuts to enhance work effort, investment, and innovation. Use government spending on public capital projects. That's infrastructure. I've talked about that a few times in class. All right, so let's take that. That's about 8 minutes, and I think that's enough for you to digest. And we'll come back with some more information on fiscal policy. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.